Dreaming Your Way to Success, episode 185. Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the Firm Differentiator 10X Effect, Moshe Amsel. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Profit with Law podcast. I'm your host, Moshe Amsel, and today I'm coming to you solo. No guests, just me, no replays. I wanted to talk to you about something. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I started a podcast before I focused on the legal industry called Dream Builder Financial. It's still in the podcast player if you wanted to go check it out. You can go and laugh a little maybe, or maybe you like it. But I what happened was I wasn't committed, and I released a few episodes at the beginning, and then I had a gap, and then I released another episode and a gap, another episode, and it just kind of died off. I don't think I made it past episode 7, but if you go look up that podcast, you'll find it, and you'll see how many episodes I did. One of the things I did do was interview Mike Michalowicz, which I'll probably pull that interview and replay it here on this podcast because it was a good show. But the very first episode I did on that podcast was about dreaming. And I don't think I did an episode here about it. So I wanted to talk about that. And one of the things that the sayings that we hear, I think it's Stephen Covey who's the one who said this, begin with the end in mind. And I firmly believe that if you want to succeed, you have to know where you're going. I believe it so firmly that one of the things that I give to my 90-day law firm turnaround coaching clients, and by the way, if you want more information about the 90-day law firm turnaround coaching program, you can shoot an email to my team or tag us on social, message us on social, let us know, and we can get you hooked up with a free coaching session to give you some of that experience and see if it's for you. But our 90-day law firm turnaround coaching clients receive a book from me called Living Forward, written by Michael Hyatt and Daniel Harkavy. And the reason I send that book is because I don't think if you're unclear on the life that you want to live, I don't think that you can get to where you want to go. We all know that there are people who have lived their life, and then when they are dying, they have regrets that they didn't live their life to the fullest, that they didn't do everything they wanted to do. And everybody's different. Some people regret that they didn't spend enough time with their family. Some people regret that they didn't spend enough time on themselves. Some people regret that they didn't do some of the things they wanted to do as far as experiences within the world or things they wanted to learn or master. And others, it's financial. They're upset that they didn't achieve a certain level of finance. And others are upset that they didn't achieve some sort of level of greatness that people will talk about. But if we're not clear on what we want and where we want to go, then how can we expect to feel fulfilled when we're at the end of the journey? When we're done with our work? What is going to tell us, hey, I have done a good job. I have done the best that I could, and I am proud of what I have become. I am proud of what I've created. I am proud of the impact I'm leaving, and I'm proud of the experiences that I got to have and the memories that I got to create and that which I am taking with me wherever the next stop is on this journey. Now, I'm going to launch into this topic, but I wanted to give you the groundwork. Why am I talking about dreaming? What the heck is this? Now you can kind of start to see where I'm going to go with this episode. I think it's important for us to imagine the unimaginable. And that's what I want to talk about today. So before I jump into that, I'm going to queue up some of our sponsors of the podcast. Pay attention, give them some love, because they are the ones who are going to continue to make this podcast possible. It costs a lot of money to produce a podcast, but we also want to get this podcast into as many hands as possible. We want to be able to spread the word by proactively marketing the podcast, and that's going to require the backing of our sponsors. So we're happy to have them here. Take a listen. I'll be right back. This podcast episode is sponsored by Legalese Marketing. No buzzwords, no jargon, no BS, just results to make your law firm grow. That's Legalese Marketing. Legalese Marketing is a full-service marketing agency for lawyers by legal experts and digital advertising specialists. Their goal? To help your firm stand out in a competitive marketplace with personalized solutions to help your law firm attract the clients you want, backed by the systems to make it all work correctly. Visit profitwithlaw.com/legalese to learn more. Let me share an exciting tool that I recently came across that is a game changer for law firms that bill hourly or by the project, otherwise known as flat fee billing. The 2020 Legal Trends Report published by Clio rates how important various items are in a client choosing your firm. You may be surprised to know that the third most important decision factor for someone choosing a lawyer is the ability to pay with a payment plan. The challenge that law firm owners face is the risk of a client not making good on that payment plan. Most attorneys don't offer payment plans because of that. The problem is now solved with LawFunder. LawFunder allows you to easily add a payment option to all your client invoices and retainer replenishment requests that does not require credit checks, applications, or any other complex process. The client's able to use their existing credit cards, allowing them to earn points and miles, access credit card specials on interest rates, and any other tools they use to manage their cash. When I saw this tool, I was blown away. Most importantly, it removes all the risk from the law firm and makes an easy and painless process to the payment process. So if you want to check off the box on one of the top factors in new client decisions, if you want to decrease your accounts receivable and get paid immediately, LawFunder is the solution. Go to lawfunder.com. That's lawfundar.com/profitwithlaw to learn more. This podcast episode is sponsored by Noda, powered by M&T Bank. You went to law school to be a lawyer, not an accountant. Take advantage of Noda, a no-cost IOLTA management tool that helps solo and small law firms track client funds down to the penny. Enjoy peace of mind with one-click reconciliation, automated transaction alerts, and real-time bank data. Visit trustnoda.com to learn more. Terms and conditions may apply. All right, I am back with you, and let's jump into the topic. Dreaming your way to success. What does that mean? Well, dreaming is an interesting thing, right? Because first of all, I'm not referring to the dream that you have when you're sleeping and you start to dream and all kinds of weird things come up when you wake up that maybe you remember some of it and you're trying to decipher it. What I'm referring to is imagining your future, imagining the things that you want. When we go through life, we have desires. For some people, those desires are materialistic. For some people, those desires are impactful. For some people, those desires are out of love for the people that they love. Everybody's desires are different. But so how do you dream? How do you figure out what your desires are if you're not in tune to them? There's different ways that we can try to unlock that, but let's play a game. Let's say I told you that you're holding the winning lottery ticket of the $600 million Mega Millions lotto, and nobody else won. So, after taxes, you're going to have $300 million to do with as you please. That's more money than any person can ever need for any of their materialistic needs, right? So right away, let's go through the list. Oh, I would get my dream home. Okay, what is that? What is your dream home? Well, I would get my dream car. Okay, what is that? What is your dream car? Let's get clear on those things. Well, I would fully fund my kids' college tuition, my kids' college savings. Okay, I would fully fund my retirement. Great, done. Check, right? What else? Now what do you do with that money? And I think that this is a good exercise to go through because it starts to open your mind to the possibility of things that are beyond the comprehension of what you can imagine day to day because you don't think big enough. Your mind doesn't allow you to go there because we restrict ourselves with a safety zone. We're wired for survival. We're wired to discount or reject any idea that would put us at risk. So anytime that we start to think about something that our mind tells us based on past history is unattainable, we immediately discount or reject it because it is a threat to our survival, because we haven't experienced it yet, and therefore that might be something dangerous. We might not be able to achieve that, and therefore we might not survive. So our survival mechanism cuts in and doesn't allow us to think outside the box, doesn't allow us to expand our imagination for things that don't seem possible because we're approaching it from a lens of what we have experienced so far in the world, and therefore what we think is possible. So if I have only experienced a certain level of income, let's say I've only experienced income annualized of $100,000 a year, it's nearly impossible for me to imagine making $1 million a year or making $10 million a year because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen proof that it's possible. Now, sometimes we're lucky enough to be directly related or closely connected to somebody who is earning that. And we have proof that that's possible. So then we look to see, what are they doing? What are they doing that we should be copying, that we should be trying to do in order to achieve that? But again, we're approaching it from this place of needing evidence that it's possible in order to be able to even contemplate the possibility. So that's why I think it's so important to play this game with the lottery ticket, because that's a way of putting yourself in a position that's within the realm of possibility for your mind to imagine and therefore be willing to play the game with you, right? So if I had $300 million that I won in the lotto, what would my plan be with that money? And you probably can easily spend the first $3 to $5 million on a house, a summer home, a vacation home, a yacht. Every toy imaginable that you can think of, you can buy with the first couple of million or the first few million. Then what? Then where do we go from there? Okay, fine. You're going to buy a really expensive house, a really large estate in a really expensive area. So you spend $20 million on a house. You still have plenty left. Now what? What do you do with it? Okay, what are your favorite charities? How much money do you want to give to those charities? You don't want to just give money to a charity, right? You want to make sure that your money is doing good. So maybe you want to sponsor a fundraiser for the charity, and you get involved with the charity for that. Great, if that's your thing. So I want you to start to think about what you would do in that situation and what you would do with that money, because that is going to expand the horizons. It's going to expand your mind and your thinking to start to delve into areas that you haven't delved into before. Now, I don't want to confuse you or make you think that this exercise is a direct corollary to your day-to-day successes. In other words, I don't think that if you dream about all the things you would do with $300 million, that next year you're going to earn $300 million because you've gone through this exercise. That is not what I am trying to insinuate here, although it's entirely possible. First of all, you could win a lottery, right? We're using that in the exercise because it's possible. But it's entirely possible for you to earn that kind of money in anything that you do. Now, obviously, if you're not trying to earn that level of revenue or income, you're not going to, right? It's not just going to happen to you. It's not just going to fall into your lap. But if you are aiming at it, it's more likely that it's a possibility for it to happen. So, in this process of dreaming, the first thing to do is to open your mind and to allow the possibility of new things to come to you because you've never even thought of thinking that big. But the next thing that you want to do is you want to start to make those dreams or those possibilities that you're imagining, if you were in this situation of extreme wealth, how do you take that exercise? How do you take what you came up with in that exercise? And how do you make it more real and tangible for yourself? Now, a lot of people do something called vision boarding. So basically, a vision board is where you have literally a board on the wall, and you place your visions on the board. Now, vision boarding can be an exercise that you use in all kinds of settings. It could be something that you do for your own business. You can have a vision of where you want the business to go. You can do it for your life. You can have a vision of where you want to go with your life, and you can have all kinds of things that you put on the vision board. But specifically here, what I want you to do is I want you to take this specific exercise and turn it into a vision board. Now, if vision boarding is not your thing, that's okay. Come up with another method for you. But there's actual, I don't know if there's research and data to this, but there are people, really successful people who I've heard talk about situations like this, where when you focus on something, there's the reticular activating system that we have that basically when you keep seeing an image over and over again, that creates this ability in your mind to create that possibility for you. So, for example, let's say you're car shopping, right? And you decide, I'm going to get a Tesla Model S, right? I'm going to get a Tesla Model S. And when you have your mind set on that car, or once you've purchased it, all of a sudden when you're driving and you look around, everywhere you turn, you see a Tesla. Everywhere you turn. You know what I'm talking about, right? It doesn't have to be a Tesla. It's anything that you when you buy a car or when you're considering buying a car, suddenly you see that car everywhere on the road, even if it's an uncommon vehicle. The reason that happens is because we are seeing all of these things all the time with our eyes, but our eyes are not honing in on something until it's in our mind. And that works both ways, right? So when we start to think about a specific kind of car, suddenly we see that car everywhere. When we start to see that car over and over again, suddenly our mind creates the possibility for us to have that. So I'm forgetting who it was. There was listening to a podcast interview or a discussion from somebody who is really successful as a real estate investor. And he was talking about how he got started at the beginning. And he was dreaming of a specific Porsche car that he wanted to own. And he literally took a picture of the Porsche car and he taped it to the visor in his car. He was not driving a Porsche. He was driving a crappy $10,000 car, $5,000 car, whatever it was. And he pasted this picture into the visor in his car. And every time he got into the car, he lowered the visor and he looked at it. And he just said, hey, I'm going to have that one day. And he put the Pfizer up. And would you know it, within 18 months, he was driving that car. He was able to buy it. This podcast episode is sponsored by Legalese Marketing. No buzzwords, no jargon, no BS, just results to make your law firm grow. That's Legalese Marketing. Legalese Marketing is a full-service marketing agency for lawyers by legal experts and digital advertising specialists. Their goal? To help your firm stand out in a competitive marketplace with personalized solutions to help your law firm attract the clients you want, backed by the systems to make it all work correctly. Visit profitwithlaw.com/legalese to learn more. Let me share an exciting tool that I recently came across that is a game changer for law firms that bill hourly or by the project, otherwise known as flat fee billing. The 2020 Legal Trends Report published by Clio rates how important various items are in a client choosing your firm. You may be surprised to know that the third most important decision factor for someone choosing a lawyer is the ability to pay with a payment plan. The challenge that law firm owners face is the risk of a client not making good on that payment plan. Most attorneys don't offer payment plans because of that. The problem is now solved with LawFunder. LawFunder allows you to easily add a payment option to all your client invoices and retainer replenishment requests that does not require credit checks, applications, or any other complex process. The client's able to use their existing credit cards, allowing them to earn points and miles, access credit card specials on interest rates, and any other tools they use to manage their cash. When I saw this tool, I was blown away. Most importantly, it removes all the risk from the law firm and makes an easy and painless process to the payment process. So if you want to check off the box on one of the top factors in new client decisions, if you want to decrease your accounts receivable and get paid immediately, LawFunder is the solution. Go to lawfunder.com. That's lawfundar.com/profitwithlaw to learn more. This podcast episode is sponsored by Noda, powered by M&T Bank. You went to law school to be a lawyer, not an accountant. Take advantage of Noda, a no-cost IOLTA management tool that helps solo and small law firms track client funds down to the penny. Enjoy peace of mind with one-click reconciliation, automated transaction alerts, and real-time bank data. Visit trustnoda.com to learn more. Terms and conditions may apply. Now, I'm not here for the naysayers. I'm not here to just tell you that there's this magical thing. But my point is that there's a true effect that happens with vision boarding. When you take a picture with details of the house that you want, the picture perfect dream home that you want, and you put exquisite pictures on the wall of exactly that house, or the boat, or if it's a charity that you're supporting and you put pictures of the charity and the outcome that charity creates. You know, if it's for helping kids, you know, like I like supporting St. Jude's Hospital, right? I recently I had participated in a poker event for a charity that does cancer, pediatric cancer research. So if you're supporting a charity like that, then you can have pictures of happy children, pictures of, or you can have you can create like a news article where, this charity funds the research that creates the cure for pediatric cancer, and you put that on your vision board. The whole idea of the vision board is that you continue to look at that every single day. Every day you're looking at that board. And what that is going to do is it's going to exponentially accelerate your path to that destination, because your mind is going to make it possible for you to achieve that result, for you to achieve that dream, because it's seeing it every day, because it's constantly in front of you. It's constantly activating that reticular activation system. So when you dream big enough and you have a list of real true desires of things that you want that you may not have allowed yourself to even imagine because they are so unreal to you, and then you place them in front of you and you create this vision every day, what that is going to do for you is it's going to open up possibilities. And you're going to stop questioning, how do I fix this problem or how do I fix that problem? And you're going to start questioning, how do I achieve this result? How do I get to this point? How do I get to be the owner of this fabulous, beautiful home? How do I get to be driving in this amazing car that I can just imagine? I can smell the new car smell. I can feel the horsepower beneath me. I've been looking in the EV market, and Lucid Motors has their new their car. It's not out yet, but this car is unbelievable. It's got 800 something horsepower. And it's environmentally friendly. It's electric vehicle, but it's just unbelievable what this car can do. And you just start to think about what that feels like to be in it and to be experiencing it, and that just it creates this possibility that suddenly seems possible, suddenly seems attainable. And it's crazy that to solve your troubles, this is all it takes. Now, I'm not going to say that you don't have to make the effort. Just looking at a vision board every day is not going to make it happen. But so much of what we do day to day in business and in our lives, but I'm focusing on the business side of it, so much of what we do is limited by our own fear. It's limited by our own inability to think bigger, to imagine bigger, to be willing to take risks bigger. And because of that, we prevent our ability to attain what we truly want to attain in this world, what we truly want and truly desire. Things that we aren't even allowing ourselves to think about. When we're kids, we have uninhibited imaginations. And I don't know what yours were as a kid, but I used to dream. I used to imagine wacky stuff. Like when I was in elementary school, I would imagine that I was in the police force. I was undercover, and I had this foldable motorcycle in my backpack. And I would imagine, having an emergency and needing to leave on a call, and pulled my motorcycle out, and I speed off away from school, and all the kids are looking at me, and I'm this I am the envy of the school because I'm this police officer that has a motorcycle in my backpack. I can laugh at it now, and you probably laughing at me too. But as a child, that was completely okay, because our imagination and our dreams of what's possible is uninhibited as a child. And we need to allow ourselves to be kids again. We need to allow ourselves to go there, to imagine these situations and these scenarios, because you don't want to be unfulfilled. You don't want to go through life and not experience that which you've imagined you'd be able to experience, and not achieve that which you've imagined you'd be able to achieve. So open up your mind and allow it to live on the fringe, and allow it to let you imagine what you haven't been able to imagine before, because it's really there. Deep down, it's there. It's not like, oh, you have to come up with something. You have to come up with a desire that you didn't have before. No. It's there. It's just a matter of unlocking it. It's just a matter of allowing it to come to the surface. And then once you become aware of it, and once you become in tune to it, once you have it hanging on the wall and you look at it every day, now it becomes a mission. Now it becomes a goal. Now it becomes the end. And now you can begin with the end in mind. Now you can go to work. And now you could say, okay, I need a plan. I need to figure out how am I going to get to the point where I can be the owner of this, where I can be the executor of this, where I can be the experiencer of this. So hopefully this is making a lot of sense to you. And if it's not, I invite you to trust me, take my word for it, and try it anyway. But if you don't want to play along, that's going to be your loss, because ultimately you're going to be stuck in this whatever mode it is that you're in right now. In the book Living Forward, Michael Hyatt and Daniel Harkavy, they discuss this idea of somebody being in this mode in life that they call the drift. And it's a great word to use for it, because it's basically where we're just kind of drifting along. We're allowing things to happen to us, but we're not controlling it. We're not trying to go in a specific direction or to a specific destination. And the problem with drifting is that eventually the tide will take you somewhere and you may not want to be there. That may not be where you want to be. So I invite you to get the book Living Forward, check it out, read it. It's got a great exercise in it, which I love, and that's to write your own eulogy. And it's super powerful to try to imagine what people are going to say about you when you pass. And imagine, basically it's not, oh, what would they say about me today if I died today? No, it's if I accomplish everything I want to accomplish, what do I want them to be saying about me? And thinking of it through that lens really, really makes it super, super real for you on what you need to be focusing on and what you need to be working on to accomplish these things in life. So definitely check out the book Living Forward. Make yourself a vision board. Imagine winning the lottery, not because I want you to go out and buy a lottery ticket, but because I want you to use an exercise that's going to allow your mind to go where it needs to go. Imagine yourself winning the lottery, and then take all of those things that you would spend that money on and put them on the vision board. Put them up there and start looking at them every day. And then let's go be successful. Let's go make those things happen. All right. Hopefully this was something that was valuable to you. That's it. I'm going to go. We have a great guest episode coming up on Thursday. Come and check it out. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Just click the subscribe button in your podcast player, and this way you get notified every time we release a new episode. We're here twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. Folks, take care. We'll catch you later. Have you been enjoying the show? We sure hope so. To make sure you never miss an episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button in your podcast player app. Next week, we will be back with more valuable resources and ideas on how to break the mold and take your law firm to the next level.